All right, guys. How's it going? It is Sunday evening. Uh, February 11th, 2022 at 8:33 p.m. A little aggravated today because I gotta go to work tonight, but I gotta leave in an hour. But at the end of the day, what can you really do? I gotta make money, and yeah, just wondering why there's glue stains just because of work. But yeah, so I work with a glue gun. But yeah, if you can't tell by the video, and also you read the title, there's just things like what I would do if I was the boss of all 32 NHL teams, and maybe I'll do a little one dimensions, like not one dimensions. What am I saying? Of what if I was the boss of not just the teams, but the NHL in general, like broadcasts and rules and stuff. Well, just whatever I can come up with, because I just don't feel like I just feel like having one paper. I don't really got a lot of time either. So yeah, this is just my opinion. So I might get death threats, but I understand at the same time. So if you disagree, that's fine. So also start with Anaheim to Winnipeg. All right, Anaheim. If I was in charge of the Ducks, I would bring back the Mighty Ducks full time. Like when they first came into the NHL, obviously they had the awesome Mighty Ducks logo, and yeah, and they got rid of those in like 2006 because I don't know, Disney reasons, which is stupid. Like, I understand why, but come on, Disney. It should be Mighty Ducks still. Like, the current Ducks is lame, honestly. With the duck web foot and the black and orange and that shit. I don't hate it, but I prefer the Mighty Ducks with the eggplant purple and the greenish, the tealish green. Yeah, I like that. You know, they shouldn't have ditched those in the first place, but yeah. Arizona Coyotes, just get them out of Arizona. It's a joke that they still have a team. No offense to any Coyotes fans watching, but like, when is Batman gonna get over? Like, it's not a great place for hockey at all. Like, come on. And they're playing in a college arena, yet teams in Canada have to stress about like arena issues. Like Calgary got threatened to move because they don't get a new arena. That sounds complete bias to me. That's bullshit. But yeah, just get them out of Arizona. And I'm going to be real, I'm not a fan of the idea of the NHL going to Houston or Atlanta at all. Just no more Sunbelt teams. Sorry, not sorry. You know, maybe moving to like Salt Lake City. I wouldn't mind that idea, but moving somewhere in Canada. Controversial take. I think Canada should have 10 teams. There, I said it. Boston, I will go back to the 2007-2023 uniforms. I'm going to be real. I dislike the current Bruins uniforms. Like, I understand they want to go back to, like, the Ray Bork or Bobby Orr days. Hold on. Sorry. But anyways. But come on. I don't like that gold or whatever. Like, that chromish gold. That looks gross on the uniforms. It looks like vomit, honestly. I don't know whoever thought that was a good idea, but whoever thought it was a good idea just needs to get the boot. You know, go back to the old uniforms, like the Bergerons, Marchands, Lucic, Rask, Thomas, Chara. You know, go back to those uniforms, you know. I don't like the current Bruins uniforms. Sabres, I had a tough time with this one because I don't know what I changed over the Sabres. You know, they suck. I would just bring back the siren, honestly, after this. Because when this, in the 2000s or 90s, when the Sabres score, these have like a siren that goes along with the horn. That air raid siren. Yeah, they need to bring that back, honestly. But yeah, or get a new coach. I don't know. I don't think Granado's. I don't know. Said the same thing for like that was said the same thing for like Bosma and shit. You know, or in the past. So I don't know what the fuck the problem is with Buffalo. Flames, Calgary. I'm just gonna rebuild. Like, get Jonathan Huberdeau off your roster. They just traded Elias Lindholm. And yeah, like Huberdeau has not been a good fit in Calgary at all. And yeah, I would start full rebuild. Like, get rid of yeah, you know what I mean, like big name players and try them for like picks and prospects. But yeah, okay, this is gonna I'm gonna get death threats for this. I would move the Hurricanes back to Hartford or even Hamilton or Halifax. But yeah, that's just me. Yeah. I still think Raleigh's like the best hockey market in, you know, the NHL. They only show up when the Hurricanes are winning, honestly. I noticed that. Like before 2018, PNC Arena was like 60% empty. yeah, you know, like, come on, support your team, win or lose. Come on. So I don't think Carolina shouldn't have left Hartford in the first place, in my opinion. But yeah, Blackhawks. Nothing really, honestly. Maybe there's one thing. Maybe bring back the goal horn, like put it back under the jumbotron, like the old jumbotron used to. Yeah, that maybe. Other than that, nothing ever really changed about them. Maybe tank again for Celebrini, but yeah. Colorado, I would go back to the early 2000s uniforms, like when they first moved from Quebec City. Those uniforms like Joe Sakic, Peter Forsberg, Patrick Waugh, those days, Rob Blake, Adam Foote. You know what I'm talking about. I would go back to those uniforms. Nowadays the Avalanche are trying to be like the Nordiques with the blue pants. I don't like that. You're in Colorado now. You're not the Nordiques anymore. I don't care if it's the same franchise, but yeah. Columbus, fire everyone. Fire Kekalainen. Get a real NHL coach. No disrespect to Pascal Vincent, Jets legend, but come on. I think he's an AHL coach at best, or at least an assistant coach. But yeah. So I would go get like a Jay Woodcroft or whatever. But yeah. And come on, like Patrick Laine, Johnny Gaudreau. They have not worked out in Columbus at all. But I don't know. But yeah, Dallas, I would return to the old uniforms, like the 1999 uniforms when they moved from Minnesota, and they ditched those in 2007. You think of like Mike Modano, Darian Hatcher, Brendan Morrow, Marty Turco, Sergei Zubov, Brad Hall, Ed Belfour, those uniforms. You know what I'm talking about. I would go back to those. Detroit, I would go back to the old goal horn. Like, the current goal horn is not bad, but it doesn't suit Detroit at all, in my opinion. I missed the goal horn when they had a Joe Louis arena. I feel like when they moved into the current arena, they had a recording of it, but I don't know. I don't like recordings. Recordings are lame. I'm not a fan of recordings, honestly. If they can try to make it less of a safety hazard, bring back the old goal horn, honestly. Maybe I should have put that for Boston, too. Get a real version of their goal horn. But I decided old uniforms, honestly. Edmonton, I would try to make their goal horn sound just like Rexall's. Like, when you go back to an old Oilers game from Rexall Place and compare it to today, the goal horn at Rexall Place sounded so much better, in my opinion. And louder, too, for some reason. Yeah, like, the current goal horn at Rogers sounds like the 2006 goal horn when they went to the finals. Just a little bit lower toned a little bit, but yeah. I don't know. I know it's not terrible. I don't mind it today. I just prefer the old goal horn. I know it's the same model, it just sounds better at Rexall, so I try to make it sound just like that a little bit. Like the current one. Florida, moving to Quebec City. Florida should not have two teams, in my opinion. And come on, Quebec's overdue. Come on. It's a joke they don't have a team. I don't care about the weak Canadian dollar excuse. Just give them a team back. Florida, it's cringe that they have two hockey teams, honestly. No offense to your Panthers fan, but yeah. LA, I have two things. One, go back to keep the current Canes uniforms, but have but the logo just have the crown instead of the whole crest where it says LA and yeah. Just have the crown instead. Or number two, get Pierre-Luc Dubois off the roster. I'm actually going to go with Pierre-Luc Dubois, get Pierre-Luc PLD off your roster. I think the dude's a locker room cancer, and yeah. I think he's uncoachable, and yeah. He's lazy, and yeah. Yeah. The reason the Jets got rid of him. So yeah, I think he's a headache everywhere you go, so I would get rid of him. Minnesota, I would go back to the early 2000s uniforms, like when they first came into the NHL. You know what I'm talking about. You think of Mikko Koivu, Marian Gaborik, those guys, those era of the uniforms. So I would go back to those. Montreal, I would go back to the two Canadiens logo at center ice. Remember these? Now it's just one, but before the 2018-19 season, they used to have two logos at center ice. Yeah, I would go back to that, or get a new goal horn. And but this time, I would try to make it get a new version of the goal horn they currently have today, but sounds like the early 2000s one, actually. Get a new version of that, because the current Canadiens goal horn sounds broken. I don't know why. I like that goal horn from the early 2000s, honestly. I'm not It's definitely not my favorite goal horn, but it sounded better in the 2000s, in my opinion. Nashville, I would go back to the 2011, 2017 uniforms. I like those uniforms the best. I was pissed when they got rid of them. They kept the logo and color scheme, which is good, but I don't like the current uniforms. I like the old ones better, honestly. Yeah. Like New Jersey, I would go back to the 90s, 2017 uniforms. Now, I'm not a fan of the current Devils uniforms. I think they're fucking boring and bland. You know? I'm talking about like when they won their Stanley Cups, like 1995, 2000, 2003. Then you think of like Martin Brodeur or Patrick Elias, those guys, those days. Yeah. You know, those uniforms. I don't like the current ones. Those ones are the best in my opinion. You know, before Adidas took over. You know what I'm talking about. New York Islanders. Nothing I'd really change about the Islanders, honestly. Couldn't think of anything. The Rangers. Not sure. Because I like what they have now. And yeah. Senators. Get a new coach. You know, they fired DJ Smith. And they got Jacques Martin as their interim. I don't know. He didn't. I think he was a good coach at the time for like when he first coached Ottawa. I don't know. But they need a good NHL coach. I get it, like a Jay Woodcroft. You know, those guys. Philadelphia, I would go back to the old uniforms, but keep the burnt orange. You know what I'm talking about, like the 70s, 2010s uniforms. I would go back to those, but I like the burnt orange better, honestly. So that's what I would do. Pittsburgh, if they miss the playoffs, get a rebuild. Just rebuild, honestly. I don't know what to say, but yeah. San Jose, I will go back to the 2007, 2013 uniforms. You know, keep the logo. I like those uniforms better than the current one. They're not bad. I just prefer those, the late 2000s one. Blues, nothing really, honestly. Not much I would change. If maybe there's one thing I would try to fix the goal horn. You know, sounds a little like off today compared to like 2000s or early 2010s, and yeah, trying to make it sound like that again. But yeah, Kraken, nothing I really change about the Kraken. Honestly, I like how they are. Maybe if you get a new arena, but I don't know. That's it, really. Nothing really much. Tampa, I will go back to the old uniforms, like Marty St. Louis, Vinny LeCavier days. Yeah, like those uniforms, like the 2004 uniforms. I like those uniforms the best. That would go back. They should go back to those. Toronto, this is gonna spark up a lot of controversy, but I would bring back the old logo from like before 2016. Like you look at the Canadian flag and that maple leaf, which is like the maple leaf logo, the Toronto Maple Leafs logo, like that one. I don't hate the current Leafs logo. I just prefer the old one. Like you think of like that era, like Matt Sundin, Wendell Clark, Phil Kessel. You know what I'm talking about, those days. I would go back to that logo, honestly. Or uniforms, whatever, but yeah. Vancouver, I had a lot going on in my mind for Vancouver. Like, when I go back to the old uniforms, I like the current, you know, Killer Whale uniforms or like the blue and green color scheme. But yeah, nothing really changed about the Canucks, honestly. I like how they are. Vegas, get a new goal horn. You know, like it sounds too similar to Colorado. Get, you know, different version. But yeah. Washington, I would go back to the Screaming Eagle uniforms. Like you think of like those days, like Peter Bondra, Yager, Olaf Kolzig, or whatever his name is, or Ovechkin his rookie year. I would go back to those uniforms. Winnipeg, fire Brad Lauer. The Jets are, I'm not on a slump right now, but they're still one of the best teams in the league. How do you have, you're one of the best teams in the league, but yet you have like the worst power play and penalty kill? Like, I don't understand. I literally don't. Like, it's a joke. So I would fire Brad Lauer. Or, if I just thought about it now, another option for the Jets is make the like alternate uniforms like the ones they have right here. Yep, that's the game last night. Make those their full-time unis. But I chose fire Brad Lauer because our power play as the worst has to be the worst in the league. It's pathetic. But yeah, guys, that's all for the teams. I don't want to do this anymore. Now, if I can think of something like not team-wise, but other parts of NHL, if I was in charge, for broadcasts, I'll go back to force Sportsnet to give the Hockey Night in Canada rights back to CBC. You know, I like CBC Hockey Night in Canada the best. I say that was when Hockey Night in Canada was in its prime. And yeah, I don't like Sportsnet. It's just Sportsnet now. It's atrocious. I don't like it. You know? But yeah. I don't. Just go back to CBC Hockey Night in Canada. But yeah. Anyways, guys, that's it for the video. I don't really have much to say, and yeah. Hope you enjoyed this video. I did this before, like, 2018, but I decided to do one just because I feel like it, but yeah. See you later.